Hello, princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Today we have a concealer video. Does that count as a complexion video? It does. So we're going to have confetti and party horns as we do on this channel when we do complexion products. Sometimes I forget, but that's just because my staff, it's only me, because my staff forgets to remind me. They're never on the job well enough. Okay, so we're going to talk about this Tower 28 concealer today. We're going to compare it to a bunch of other concealers, namely the Mario concealer. Don't you worry, I got you covered. I know they're both new. And we're going to talk about how this fits in on my concealer spectrum, which I'll explain to you if you don't understand. We're going to do a wear test for as long as I possibly can. And very, very, very important, we are going to do an update on a few products that you see me wearing right now. I've had some requests to try 2 different products from recent reviews a little bit differently, and I am doing that in this video today, namely the Natasha I Need a Nude palette I'm wearing differently. I'll explain that in my summary at the end. And I'm also wearing that Caliray lip and cheek stain a little bit differently because I had many requests for that. So we will talk about that at the end. Right now, let's just get directly into the Tower 28 Swipe All Over Hydrating Serum Concealer. I have 2 shades, but there are 18 more for a total of 20. This is $22. It is we'll discuss it, but the brand says that it's a natural, medium coverage, fragrance-free, hooray, hydrating, weightless, buildable concealer with a skin-like texture that they say, skin-like texture, that they say is perfect even if you have sensitive skin. I picked up the shades 3.0, which is a little light and brightening and has a little bit of a peach color to it so that it will maybe color correct a little bit. And I picked up the 6.0, which is more of a light medium and more of a neutral shade. I am neutral in undertone. So we're going to look at those 2. I will warn you that these concealers are a tad bit light for my face, a tad bit, but normally we would have foundation over them. And in my complexion product videos, I try not to wear any foundation. I try not to wear any primer, powders. We will test powder under one eye though. All right, let me show you what these look like. Here is the 3.0, which is decidedly a little light for me, but brightens under the eyes certainly. Here is the way the doe foot looks, leans a little bit. Here is the way the product looks. Nice and skin-like for sure, very light for me. That's okay, again, normally I would have a foundation on. And then we have the 6.0, which is a more neutral shade. Applies very nicely. Not much difference between those 2 shades, is there? This one is a little bit darker, but not much. Okay, so let me explain my concealer spectrum, and I'll do it quickly because if you've been with this channel for concealer reviews before, you already know the drill. I am a fashion and beauty journalist. I have always, other than recently, been behind a computer screen writing about makeup, and I discovered something a while ago. I discovered that everybody has a concealer type, a concealer preference, and concealers can be super, super thick where you better just barely dot them on, or they get so thick that they cake, or they can be almost watery in texture. And then of course we have some that are smack dab in the middle. I have found that if you buy a concealer that is on your side of the concealer spectrum, you are going to be happier. If you love a thick concealer and you end up buying one that's decidedly watery, you will hate it. That is why I put them on a concealer spectrum. How do I define my spectrum? Well, it's true that something like Valentino or the latest Glowish from Huda are pretty darn watery and should be the lightest. I don't really count it. These are kind of best to cover up a color corrector, so let's not. What I like to use as my lightest, you know, is the Armani Power Fabric. I think this is buildable, super lightweight, just super light in general. And for my thickest, I use the Tarte Shape Tape, the original. Oh, I don't even have one here to show you. Oh, awful. And in fact, for me, I don't like the thicker. For you guys might love them, I'm sorry, but I don't like thicker. So the Tarte Original Shape Tape, even the Tarte Creamy, not the newest Radiant. There's 3 different Tarte Shape Tape concealers, just to make sure you're good and confused. But the original is very thick. The Pat McGrath concealer is extremely thick. You cannot give this to me. I look like a caked up mess. I have no restraint with concealer, and I cannot dab. I have to swipe, and it just looks horrible on me, but some people love it. Thicker side. I think KVD Good Apple is a little thick. What's in the middle, Rebecca? The newest Tarte Shape Tape, the Radiant, not the creamy, not the original. The newest Charlotte Tilbury is smack dab in the middle. The Dior Forever, smack dab in the middle. And that could pull people from either side. I don't mind a middle concealer, and I tend towards light. The minute it starts getting thick, I'm going to be a caked up mess. It's user error, I admit, but still. All right, Mario. We got the new Mario concealer. Where does that go? The Mario concealer is decidedly middle, but a little bit lighter than Charlotte, a little bit lighter than the newest Tarte Radiant, around where the Dior is, a little bit lighter than Givenchy. I have to be careful because if I go on and on and on, it's just boring. But you can ask me to put your particular concealer on the spectrum and see where it goes, right? But the Mario, I would say, is middle, pretty light. And I would say this new Tower 28 is slightly thinner. So this way, slightly thinner than the Mario. But they're both medium. They are both correct when they say medium. The Tower 28 is slightly thinner than the Mario. Which one do I prefer? I'll tell you at the end. I promise I will. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go to a demo. And again, in this demo, I'm not going to be putting on a whole lot of makeup. I'm not going to be putting on any foundation, powder only under one eye, so that we can really test this little guy. And we're going to let the test run for as long as possible. So let's go to the demo right now. Welcome to what I like to refer to as the no ego portion of this program. I apologize in advance. I'm going to show you exactly what we're working with here. I have nothing on my face but some morning skin care. Now, normally we would put on a foundation and then a concealer. I mean, there's no rules. You could do it in the other order. But today we are literally just going to wear concealer, no powder even. That way we know, no primer either. That way we know if there's any issues that it is simply the concealer that's done it and not an accompanying powder or maybe the foundation over it, right? Okay, we get a pure test. So what I'm working with here, as you can quite obviously see, I have some redness and ruddiness around here. I have allergies and a little bit on the cheeks too, I have to admit. Some enlarged pores here, and the biggest reason that I need concealer, I don't know about you, but I don't get puffy eyes. I get deep, dark, what I call pits of despair. That is right here on my eyes. Yes, it has its accompanying theme music, the dark pits of despair. The theme music almost disappeared because I had a complaint about it. But when I mentioned it, there was an outpouring of love for the dark pits of despair and the theme that plays with them. So it is back. All right, we're going to try this on now and see if it covers up the dark pits of despair. We will put it on one side of my face first and compare it to the other. I have 2 shades. You don't have to have 2. You can use a lighter shade under to highlight the eyes and a face shade that matches the rest of your skin on the rest of the face. But, just because I figured some people, you both have different ways of doing it, I would do 2. Okay, so we're going to start with our slightly peachier shade, which is the 3.0 on this eye first. And then we will do the more neutral shade, which the rest of my face is neutral, on the rest. Okay, so let's take a look here. All right, interesting. Now, when you use concealer, mostly, I'm going to put it over the eye a little bit too. My eyes are getting discolored lately. When you use concealer on a blemish, it is best to let it sit in the air for a little bit so it kind of gets just a little bit thicker before you put it on. But I'm going to do that actually on the eyes as well. You mostly need to do it on blemishes, but I'll do it on the eyes as well. Now I'm opening up, it's supposedly a little bit peachy, so that should have some color correcting properties. And then I'm going to put on the 6.0, that's a little bit, as you can see, more of my skin tone on the rest of this side of my face. Now I am using a lot because today we're not going to use any foundation, heaven help us. And I'm going to put a little here too. Am I using this as a foundation? Not really. I just want to see I think I've let this sit long enough while we're chatting. I just want to see what it does. Okay, so let's go ahead and blend. I have one brush, so I don't want to confuse the two. So let's first blend this lighter shade. Don't pay attention if you can, if at all possible, to the rest of the polka dots on this side of my face. Let's just for a moment, and I know this is very brightening, maybe a little too light of a shade. That's okay. I'm going to put on other makeup. I'm not going to put on foundation, but I'm going to put on other makeup. So I know that looks a little silly, but it's only on one eye. Let's take a look at what it's done. There is no color corrector. Here are my Dark Pits of Despair with the brand new Tower 28 concealer, serum concealer. And here it is, just by itself, left to its own devices. The Dark Pits of Despair. Okay, again. All right, little light, okay. I hope I can go without foundation. I might have misspoken. If I went way too light on the shade, we might be in trouble here, but let's just see. On the rest of the face, I did use the slightly more skin tone. Okay. Now, before I do the other side of my face, which I'll do off camera, I won't make you sit through that. But before I do the other side of my face, I know it looks like a Phantom of the Opera moment here. But let me just say, I'm not too worried about my shade choice. Though this side of my face looks a lot brighter than this side. Normally I would put foundation. I do look silly, I grant it. Normally I would put foundation over this and it would be fine. Or I would be putting this over foundation and it would blend fine. The fact that I'm using this kind of as de facto foundation today is a bit weird. But I just want to see if it's going to cake, if it's going to sink into fine lines, and what it's going to do hiding things on my face. To me, sometimes my concealer is a little more important than my foundation. Although I do agree I would have to bring this more into my skin tone with a foundation. So far, I am really liking this. I don't see it settling into lines. Very interesting. And the other thing that I'm going to do is something that I did in my Mario video. I'm going to take this Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Pressed Powder, the brightening one, and I am going to put it under only this eye. So we have to remember, I'm forgetful, so remind me, it's going to only be under this eye. So we can just see as we do a wear test. I'm just putting a little bit on, if that helps the creases. Some of you are very reliant on powder, but I won't put any powder under this eye, and we'll see if that makes a difference. It was a very light powdering, but we'll see if it makes a difference. Okay. I am going to put on the rest of this. Obviously, it's fairly silly looking. And then just some makeup, just a little bit of makeup over the top. And we'll just have to deal with the shades being a little off. We're going for testing the formula here, not for a perfect look. Okay. I'm going to put on the rest of it and a little bit of other makeup over the top. And the next thing that you're going to see in just a moment here will be the wear test. I'll wear it for as long as I can. I will do my intro with it freshly applied. That's how we're doing it here. So just please stay right there. All right, it has been 6 hours and 10 minutes. We are going to look at how the concealer has held up. But very quickly, I want to tell you, as promised, about a few follow-ups on some other products. On my cheeks right now is the Caliray Lip and Cheek Stain. I had a lot of requests to try applying it by putting it onto the brush first rather than putting the doe foot on the face. If you saw that video, the doe foot on the face left dots. This is it applied by putting it onto the brush first. It works, but you do see a bit of flush. It still doesn't blend great. I do not get polka dots, but as you see, I would have liked to kind of disperse the color a little bit more. I don't know if that's apparent on camera, and I was unable to do so, but putting it on the brush first did get rid of the polka dots. Second thing to note is that this is the new Natasha I Need a Nude eyeshadow palette, worn without any of the special wet effect shades. I had some requests to put it on the eyes with just the normal kind of typical foiled or shimmer shades, and not, my video that I put out focused heavily on the wet effect shades. I am not wearing any of the wet effect shades, some of the mattes and some of the standard shimmers. Okay, let's talk about the concealer now in this 6 hours and crucial 10 minutes that I have been wearing it. Please remember, powder under this eye only. I did not powder under this eye. Let me take my mirror and let's check. Yes. Okay, so first of all, holding up well under the eyes, definitely more lines under this eye with no powder. The powder doesn't have to be the Charlotte Tilbury powder. A translucent powder of your choice, setting powder, has definitely markedly helped this eye. And I have no trouble applying powder under my eyes. But that settles that. All right, let's take a look at what I like to call my dark pits of despair. Both eyes are covered. Has it come through? Look, it's always better to use a color corrector. I'm not going to lie to you. It really is. But for this video, I didn't want anything to interfere. Remember the rest of the face. I do have some colored makeup over it, but I do not have any foundation and no primer and no powder. I didn't want anything to interfere. The only powder is just under this eye. All right, confession. 2 hours in, I noticed it was separating a little bit here and I fixed it and then went, because I wasn't supposed to. It's a habit. So it was fine though. And I do need to fix it a little bit again. Now this is not, I do this often. This is a common practice for me because I am sniffly and have allergies. So I had to fix it again. It probably looks like every hour I could peek into a mirror and fix it. That doesn't bother me. If it bothers you, just so you know. All right, let's take a look at pores. I see my pores here, but they are not enlarged. It hasn't done that horrid thing that some foundation or concealer can do where it sinks into the holes and just makes them look worse. No problem on the cheeks at all. No problem on the chin. I mean, I need my complexion evened out a little bit. I could have used some foundation, but that's not what this video is about. I think it's holding up really well. What do I prefer, this one or the Mario? Still the Mario. That Mario has a little bit of radiance for me that I really like. But had it not come out, I would probably prefer this one. These are all really nice, creamy, lighter side of medium, not light to medium, lighter side of medium concealers that are really nice. I kind of like the Mario under my eyes a little bit more, I think. But I need a lot of help under my eyes. Some of you do not. This is a very pretty concealer. But I am really enjoying Mario right now. I will also really enjoy these. The colors that I chose, it's true the shades are a little bit off. But look, I made it work here. I'm a little brighter faced than usual. I acknowledge that. I think if I had put a foundation over it, we would be fine. And in fact, I think I might do that for the MAC. I have a MAC video coming up. MAC has a new foundation out. So I'll put this on after. I'll point that out in that MAC video so you can see if this looks ridiculous over foundation. That will be a good time to do that. Okay, so I will do that for you. But this is a thumbs up. Boy, there's so many nice concealers out there. It's like splitting hairs. But if I have Mario here and I have this Tower 28 there, what am I going to just grab for? I think the Mario. Splitting hairs, guys. Splitting hairs. So tell me what you think. That's what makes us a community. Leave your comments down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I sure hope that you did. If you haven't already done so, I would very much appreciate if you could subscribe to this channel. I know YouTube would recommend videos from moi anyway, but it's really helpful to me if you could hit subscribe. You can also come over and say a big hello on Instagram, TikTok, and on Threads, and you can become a bigger part of this YouTube community by using those links below to shop from. Costs you nothing. The retailer gives me a little, which I use toward product purchases. You could become a channel member. You could give super thanks. But frankly, any way or reason that you are here, I am thrilled to have you, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Bye-bye.